Evening and welcome to FIPS Talk. As usual, we bring you some of the most current, exciting information about things that are happening in your neighborhood and for your benefit and to help you and your family individually or collectively to be successful in the things you choose to do business-wise and community. Today, we're going to cover some ground relative to your opportunities in real estate and counseling with the National Association of Real Estate Brokers and a wonderful young lady who heads up that organization locally. And I will introduce you to her in a moment. But right now, I certainly just want to thank you for being a part of the audience and thank CFS Realty and Management for being a part of the arrangement that makes this show possible. Now, Roberta Smiley is my guest for today, and I'd like to introduce you to Miss Roberta. She's been around the greater Boston area as a servant to many of the organization, many of the residents in the community by way of the organizations she represents. Most recently, she's become the president of the Greater Boston Realtist chapter with a support team like you wouldn't believe. However, she's been designated as the heavy hitter for today. So we're going to get a lot of information from Roberta as she speaks to you shortly about the things that the Greater Boston Realtist chapter offers by way of options, opportunities, and events through its membership. Roberta?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley? Sanders Smiley, I got to get it all in. Roberta Sanders Smiley.
Yes.
Thanks for being a part of the program today. And I know you have lots of exciting information to share about what NAREB is doing in the community, what NAREB is, and what it can do for the folks who might be listening to you by way of its relationships with NID Housing Counseling and the events it has planned for the month of June and July. Now, I'd like to learn a little bit about you first, a little bit about the organization you represent as a community business, and then we'll move on to the organizational activity in NAREB and the opportunities, because it all ties together.
Say, well, I am been a real estate broker for well over, I hate to say, 30 years now.
That's a lot of experience. That's all I can think. A lot of skill developed. A lot of knowledge that will be of benefit to the audience. So.
I was born and raised here in Boston, Massachusetts, and proud of it.
Really?
Really.
Wow. Boston, homegrown, as they say.
Homegrown. I joined NAREB, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. It is a national organization for real estate owners, agents, brokers, and other technicians that help with real estate.
Yes.
And we are so excited that June is Home Buyer Month.
Ah.
And so we have a host of activities for homeowners, for first-time homeowners, second-time homeowners, elderly, people that are thinking about getting into real estate. We have something for you. And of course, we have support and education for our real estate agents and brokers. So we're excited about June.
So now, listen, that's why I let her say, because she can say much better than I can, and then I can break it down for you after she says it with her assistant, because it comes out just a bit too fast for the ears to pick up. But I'm sure you did, because you're much sharper than I am. Now, Roberta, let's break it down one bit at a time. Now you said June is Home Ownership Month. Is that
is
here
national,
or across the country?
That is across the country.
Across the country.
NAREB is working in all the different cities across the country to have some home buyer activities for the month of June.
Okay.
It is our mantra. It is our job that we want to help people become homeowners. And NAREB has got an ambitious plan to have 2 million new homeowners in 5 years.
Wow, I heard about that, the 2 million in 5. Now, with regard to homeownership month, I like the concept because it's, one of the things we talk about a lot is wealth building, wealth development, wealth creation. And it's not about millions and billions. It's just about making sure that our communities improve from where they are economically, and we're able to do that basically through homeownership. There are many people who advocate, we must rent, we can't afford homes, and we can't manage homes, and blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I'm glad that NAREP has taken it on as a cause to be able to educate people, enlighten them about the options for homeownership and what homeownership means. So let's do a little deep dive for right now. You said you've been a real estate broker for many years.
Yes.
Now, that that gives you a vantage point. How do you think, as a real estate professional, we are faring in the Commonwealth of Mass, more specifically, Greater Boston area? Are people being able to afford homes and develop, or what is your, let me give you a chance to answer it rather than put an answer in your mouth.
Well, we are very fortunate in the city of Boston that along with the real estate brokers, we're working tirelessly with the city, with the state, with the Commonwealth, because homeowner prices right now, home prices are very high. But there are different ways and different programs that allow low and moderate income people to still be able to afford homes. We have down payment assistance that the city has, as well as NAREP itself has. And there are other programs to help people to be able to afford housing in the Commonwealth.
Okay. Now, folks, you heard it here, I don't want to say first, but most recently. Down payment assistance programs. If you have questions, the young lady that's with me may be able to guide you where to find that down payment assistance money, which can be very elusive unless you ask the right questions. And I'm sure whether it's here on the program or whether it's out the program, she'll be happy to chat with you to help guide you through that process. Now, with regard to the down payment assistance programs you mentioned, now I know there are certain requirements in order to be able to take advantage of those. Do you have any information with you that you can share on the environments, or we can move on to another very important part of that process?
Well, I don't have specifics per se, but we have the mass housing, we have the city of Boston that has down payment assistance. Mortgage companies and banks are also giving monies for either down payments or for closing costs, which is, again, sometimes an obstacle to being able to afford buying a house.
Okay.
So there are different ways to be able to combine these programs along with your savings, along with other programs to be able to still afford housing.
Okay. Now with regard, I keep saying with regard, but it's all reference, so I would say the 2 million and 5 program, which intends to put 2 million brown people, if you will, in homes. We have to say things politically correct nowadays. Brown people, but not excluding anybody else, in homes as part of the recovery process from the financial debacle of some years ago, 2008, et cetera. How is that working? What is the process? Is there an educational process that helps people to identify, to work their way back? How do people get a hold of you to be able to, to take advantage of the opportunity to become a homeowner again? Because many people are disenfranchised, they're unhappy, they're disillusioned, they don't think it's possible to do it again. And I know for sure it's possible because I know people who have done it. So how do people get a hold of you or be able to get the information necessary to walk that road back to home ownership?
Say, well, one, we have different programs that will be able to help you do this. We have housing counseling, which is going to be able to answer those questions that you need answered. Most important, you need good, solid information. Yeah. You need And we have that for you, whether you are a first-time home buyer or whether you're coming back for a second time. We have housing counseling, home buyer programs that we actually have each month so that you can get information about insurance, about the closing costs, about, what is involved in the home buying process, the inspections, the, getting a good mortgage with a good rate, that is a fixed rate. All of that is important, and that is information that people need to have.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. When is your next first-time home buyer program? And let's talk about the events you have this week, because this month, in July, I want to be able to highlight those and encourage people to come out and participate, and then we'll mention it a few times through the program.
Well, we are definitely having a home buyer fair on June the 15th at the Boys and Girls Club in Roxbury, where we are having different technicians, mortgage companies, and housing counseling agencies come together to give information to people, to first-time home buyers and second-time home buyers. We're going to have it all in one place so that you can get all the information that you need, as well as even having some classes so that you can be able to get the assistance that you need to be able to buy housing.
Hold it right there. We're going to take a quick break, share some public announcements with you. 2 and 2, we'll be right back at you.
What are you, superheroes?
Just 4 brothers who hate bullies and love this city.
Gear up, guys.
Thanks for staying with us. We're coming back with some more exciting information about the opportunities and events with the National Association of Real Estate Brokers Greater Boston Realtist Chapter, headed by the awesome, unbelievable, inimitable Miss Roberta Sanders Smiley. There's only one of her, and I'm sort of glad that she's decided to spend some time with us. Listen, the program that she's talking about is the largest program in the city of Boston, becoming the largest program in the city of Boston next to the Boston Home Show. I certainly am glad that she's sharing the opportunity with us and you, that you can schedule yourself to be a part of this unique event at the Boys and Girls Club on June 15th?
Yes.
And that's an all-day affair, or from when to when?
From 9 to 3.
9 to 3. To me, that's all day. When you get to be as old as I am, you tend to, that's a long day, but it's a good day filled with information and things that will benefit you and your family. So that's the first thing we want to sort of drop in your lap. Put it on your calendar and listen. When we share information here, It is intended for you to share with others. Please do not keep it to yourself. When you keep it to yourself, it can only benefit you. We would like it to benefit, whatever we do here, we would like to benefit the broader community, and hopefully, as the broader community benefits, we all get better. Now, there's another event you have coming up right after the, is that before? When is the mixer?
The mixer is the week before,
The week before. So
Yes.
what's the date on the mixer?
June the 6th,
June the 6th. June 6th. And where's that going to be held?
at Daryl's, right, you formerly the Bob the Chef.
Okay. Bob's been gone for a while now, so
So Columbus Ave
Columbus Ave.
in Boston.
Okay. So Daryl's, Columbus Ave in Boston on June 6th. That's a couple days from now. No, not me say a couple of, so most people hold me, that's a bit more than 2 days from now. But it's very soon, it's right around the corner. So put it on your calendar. Let's get together. I'll be there, and I'll try to tie one on for you and for me if you're not there. Hopefully you'll save me doing that by being there to take care of your own glass. And we'll have some fun as we learn things about NAREB and what it does for the city. Now, let's get. So, what are we expecting at Daryl's? Tell me a bit more about what we're expecting at Daryl's. Besides my drink, so I've got to make sure I put that in. You know what I mean?
Say, well, besides being able to network with other professionals that are in the real estate industry, we'll also be there to talk with different real estate agents, mortgage brokers, bankers, around what we can do together to further what we're doing in terms of real estate in Boston.
So this is really a collaborative effort. So folks, if you're out there and you're a real estate professional or mortgage professional, anything to do with real estate industry, I think this is one opportunity you want to capitalize on. You want to be a part of it because I know they're doing some awesome things and it's good for the entire community. And if we have all of you participating, it gets even better. So please make a note, June 6th, Daryl's, Columbus Ave, just below the northeastern
Yes.
site there. I think I've been there before.
Yes.
So be sure that you're there, and we want to be able to say hello to you in person when you're there. Now you can't call and say you'll be there and not show up now. So just show up. I know the organization will appreciate folks dropping in and expanding the network for services in the community. Now, we talked about Daryl's, and we talked about the home buyer event, but let's talk about what's going to happen at the home buyer event at the Boys and Girls Club in Roxbury on Warren. That's Warren Ave?
On Warren Street.
Warren Street.
We want you to know that we have so many people that are coming together. We have the churches. We have been in touch with all the different churches in Boston so that they can be a part of this, as well as the City of Boston. The Department of Neighborhood Development will be there, as well as Mass Housing, as well as other real estate professionals to be able to give everyone the information that they need.
But the bottom line is there are people there to help individuals and families
Yes.
to become homeowners.
Yes.
If you are ready to take on homeownership, even if you're not ready to take on homeownership, I'm encouraging you to join the event at the Boys and Girls Club on the 15th, because you may find that although you think you're not ready to become a homeowner, the opportunity is right for you to do so. Now, when we talk about the event and who's going to be there, and families will have a chance to. How about kids? Will there be accommodation for kids? Because a lot of families have kids and they don't know what to do with kids. And
Yes, we will have some things for young people to do while they're there. The Boys and Girls Club is children friendly, so please come out. Do not make that a reason not to come out.
Okay, very good. Now we've covered two major events, and like I said, the home buying fair, as you refer to it?
Community Wealth Day.
Community Wealth Day. Community Wealth Day is eclipsing. We're working on eclipsing the city of Boston's home buyer fear. So if you want to make that possible, if you want to see something larger than this city, and you can support something larger than the city in terms of opportunities to help families, this is your chance to make history as part of this event. And we're looking forward to seeing you there. We're looking forward to your participation. They're looking forward to your family and supporting the entire family through this process. Now, besides the events that we're talking about, you have another event coming up in June. What is? Tell me a bit more about that and what that's the purpose of that.
NARAB has the Real Estate Industry Masters Award Gala, which is going to be June the 21st at Lantana's. And we will be honoring, we will be giving awards to real estate technicians in the greater Boston area. We will look at agents and brokers as well as property managers, mortgage, and bank affiliations that have worked hard during the year to help with our 2,000,005 efforts to have more people that own homes.
You know, so these real estate professionals are actually participating or being rewarded for their
Yes.
efforts. You know, that is a very interesting concept, a very good thing to happen, because so many times these folks work day and night, long hours on. It's almost like they're on call 24/7 because the people that need help, you know, there's no regular schedule unless they create one. And to be able to make themselves available to serve community the way they do, I think is very special. So I'm glad that you guys have decided to, not have decided, but are recognizing these individuals for their efforts. And I look forward to seeing or supporting that event. The National Association of Real Estate Brokers, can you tell me a little bit about that as a national organization and a little bit about it as a regional and local organization?
On the national level, NARAB is working with the large banks and mortgage companies to get them to help people become homeowners, and on a national level. And then
do they do anything at the policy level in Washington, or do they have any influence over what banks do in terms of products or services for our communities?
yes, they do. And that is something that they are continually working on. And we, even on the local level, are working with our state representatives, our congressmen, to one, have fair housing, to have democracy in housing. We still have too many people, too many minorities that are not able to get housing.
Okay. You know, recently I was listening to some testimony from the Secretary of HUD, and it seems as though fair housing is under threat in spite of whatever programs currently exist. What is NAREB's position at the national level and at the local level, because it rolls up as well as it rolls down? What is NAREB's position about you know, enabling or I want to say promoting fair housing as it relates to our communities? What are they doing relative to that, if you know?
Well, what we have been doing is that we have been trying to meet with our, as I said, state representatives, but also going on the Hill to
Okay.
talk to our representatives in Congress.
Let's come back in a minute and let's talk about what you're doing locally and how people can support that, because I'm sure they can as part of your community. Stay with us. 2 and 2, we're back at you.
Thank you. You got got a key?
Go fish. In your face, in your face.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.
Jeff?
Yeah. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to continue the discussion with this awesome young lady with all this information to share. Back to Mrs. Smiley Sanders. Sanders Smiley, I got. All this excitement gets to me sometimes. You guys understand that. You know what I mean? So, Mrs. Sanders Smiley, tell me a little bit about what's happening in terms, and the opportunity that people have in the community to support. Listen, one of the things that, I'm a resident of Boston, and I know that right now apartments are very difficult to come by, and when you do find them, they're extremely expensive. Now, all that's relative, but when they say expensive, everybody's got to earn a living, everybody needs a place to live. But I'm thinking, like 2 years ago, what you could get for $1,500 is now $2,300. Now, I'm wondering, let's say that's a third increase. Can we do that? Can I round up some numbers?
Yes.
Now, if there's anybody within earshot of this program, and you got a 33% raise in the last 2 years, we would like to hear from you, because we would all like to be employed or be a part of the organization that you're part of. So please let us know. I doubt very much, but I wanted to put it out there in case you got a 33% raise. Housing, that's gone up like 33%. Now, I'm curious as to what people are doing other than moving out of the city as this process happens, because many people cannot afford to live in the city. And I know people are moving to Brockton and Fall River and Taunton and Worcester. I know because I'm dealing with some of these folks. Some of them on the other side, Malden and Everett. So there are opportunities for others to become housed. But how are the people that are displaced locally? How are they coping? What's the mechanism to help them? Are they? What's being done on not Capitol Hill at the State House? If anything, what's being done by your local institutions? Talk to me about your organization and the efforts in that area.
Well, what NARAB has been doing, or what the local chapter has been doing, is supporting our local leaders in some of the legislation that they have put on the Hill. Mm-hmm. They have legislation out for low income. They have legislation out for affordable housing, for down payment assistance, which is something that all, as residents of Boston, can support them in those efforts, because they're going to help them.
Mm-hmm. Now, as it relates to the cost of housing and support programs for them, first off, I know there are a lot of new words that you should become aware of relative to affordable housing, because some people think affordable housing is enigma. You know, it's a bad thing. Some associate affordable housing with depleted, rundown buildings and gangs and all sorts of negative stuff that really is inaccurate. So if you know that people are associating affordable housing, these inaccuracies, let's start to straighten that out, because affordable housing is a good thing and serves a very useful purpose. Now you're hearing things like equitable housing and there's another word that I heard besides equitable. It has to do with community. The concept is that everybody in the community should be able to afford housing. They don't call it affordable housing at that level, and it slips me now, but it'll come back.
Working?
But huh?
Working house.
I forgot the word. I know equitable housing was one of the quotes I heard. And some cities and towns across the country are trying to move away from affordable housing because they seem to believe that there is some disparity between people who are able to pay $2,300, $3,300 a month for housing, and somebody that has a voucher that allows them to pay, $300 or $400 for the same housing unit. So, be that as it may, there's an effort to create balance in housing. So, if housing is moved out of the affordable category, or affordable arena, what do people do? You have a lot of people leaving, but you also have a lot of people becoming homeless. The problem becomes exacerbated, and then you have a whole new dimension to deal with. So you mentioned state legislators earlier. Do you know of any specific legislation that's being promulgated at this time to sort of, I know rent control is out of the question from all the things I've heard, because people seem to believe that, if you can afford to buy, you buy, and if you can't afford to buy, you rent, and if you can't afford the neighborhood you live in, move to another neighborhood you can afford. That's a very, what I call unconscionable concept. So what is being done, if anything, that you know of that will enable a little balancing of the playing field?
A little balance? I mean, people are doing what they need to do. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times now what's happening is that families have had to come back together. That now, instead of just the husband and wife, now we're looking at, husband
and wife and grown kids.
And grown kids coming back home because, they have to put their monies together in order to be able to afford the housing. There are people that want to stay in the city. They grew up in the city, they work in the city, and they want to be able to stay in the city.
Now, there's a number of concerns that I have. But this is probably not the moment to discuss those concerns. So we're going to stick with housing. But one of the concerns I'm going to throw out there is, food continues to become more and more expensive, and still people's paychecks have, as a matter of fact, people are trying to keep paychecks down while everything else goes up. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's the beginning of civil unrest. But you can't starve people and expect them to do all the things you want them to do, work and produce and keep. So I'm getting very confused and conflicted about some of the things that are happening in our society, and what government can't fix it all, but what the leadership, whether it's the academic leaders or the religious leaders or the political, what they're doing collectively to eliminate some of the pressure that's developing as a result of these economic pressures that are being brought to bear on the communities. And that obviously affects housing opportunities. So what is the position, if you will, besides public policy, which only goes so far and which takes a great deal of time to implement? What is the thought as far as community leaders, religious leaders, economists and so forth? What is the thought among that group of people about how we resolve some of these issues and
well,
keep housing?
I think that you hit it on the head, that we are coming together, that the religious community is meeting, along with other technicians, other people, agents, brokers, banks, mortgage companies. We're all meeting together to try to see what we can do as a community, as individual entities, what we can do to assist people in the plight that we have right now in terms of housing.
So you have a number of professional organizations, from what I gather, working together. Is there a timeline for when some of this stuff might happen, or is it ongoing discussions to see what can be done?
It's ongoing discussions. I mean, if we had if I could give you a timeline, if I could tell you when, that would probably be great, but I don't have that.
I quite understand. You might have to call Washington to get that from the White House or something. But the other thing that comes to mind, and I know there's another event besides the Industry Masters Awards. You have a big event coming up in Atlantic City, a national convention for real estate professionals. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, NAREB each year has a national convention where they are able to bring together all of the agents, brokers, and other people that are associated with NAREB to come together for education, for information. NAREB does a whole thing on black housing in the
State of housing in Black America?
Yes, a report that all of us, are able to be to look at, to see what is going on, what's the trends, what's going on, what we might be able to do in housing. This year is going to be in Atlantic City, and we're looking forward to being able to come back to Boston and to our other cities with a plan of what we can do and how we can implement it in our individual cities.
I can make one suggestion. When you go to Atlantic City, they have a few casinos there. Don't leave money there. Ask them each to donate $1 million and bring it back to Boston. We will have some fun to start with. Now, considering the program that NAREB offers for real estate professionals, is that something you would say that would benefit? Before I ask that question, let me preface this. There's the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, right? There's the Asian Real Estate Association of America. There's the gay, bisexual, lesbian, I forgot the rest of it, queer, I forgot, anyway. There's an organization that represents that minority, and there's another organization, and that one slips me. Anyway, I know 4 such minority organizations that each have their own group of membership, and we've got such a divided arena of professionals now, with each representing their own interests. It bothers me that we've sort of gotten to a point in terms of groups that, although they represent specific interests, the broader interests of all minorities, as they become majorities, is getting lost in this pocket of self-identity. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is that we need to come together. And we have been reaching out to the different groups so that we can work together. Your point is valid. The broader picture is that, we still all have problems and issues that, need to be addressed and need to be worked on. And together we could be able to address some of these issues. So it's upon us to be able to reach out to the different entities, and we have, and we do meet, occasionally, but we need to do something more focused, more on point, to be able to bring about some change.
Right. We've been trying to cover a number of points, share a few opportunities with you, so that you are aware of what's happening in your community about real estate opportunities and events that support that, and how you can be benefiting from these. We're going to take a quick break. And we'll be right back to pull it all together with the awesome Roberta Sanders Smiley. Did I get it right, or Roberta? Yeah, I'm working on it, Roberta.
Yes, you did.
I got it right, Roberta Sanders Smiley. And you forgive me for, the error, because she's forgiven me, and I hope that we can all forgive each other.
Everywhere that we go, he makes people laugh and makes people smile, and I feel like I have that quality.
He's the one who always takes me fishing. I watch golf with him.
I watch him cook because when I grow up, I want to be a cook too.
We have the same faces like this.
Dad is the one, when you fall, that picks you up.
That unconditional sense of presence and reassurance is really what makes him my father.
Thanks for staying with us. It's always exciting to have you as part of our audience. And I really appreciate you spending some time with us this evening. I'm sure Mrs. Sanders Smiley also appreciates you being a part of the audience because you're able to get the information she's sharing with you. We're going to try to pull it all together now with Mrs. Smiley and Sanders Smiley. And Roberta, you ready to sort of revisit some of these things so that we can sort of certainly demonstrate the importance of these events and what they offer? And I certainly would appreciate your assistance with walking me through that process.
Sure. We want to again just remind people that June is Home Buyer Month, and we are so excited to be able to help you with that opportunity. We're going to start the month with a mixer for Greater Boston Realtist chapter. It's going to be at Darrell's on June the 6th from 7 to 9. Darrell's is on Columbus Avenue in Boston. And that is for all real estate brokers and investors and real estate and mortgage, insurance, all kinds of technicians that are associated with real estate. To come together, to socialize, to network, and to get information.
Okay.
And the next week we are going to have the Community Wealth Day, which is going to be our community fair, our home buyer fair that we are going to have at the Boys and Girls Club. We call it the Yawkey Club in Roxbury, 115 Warren Street, and it's going to be from 9 to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, where we will have home buyer classes and information. We will have different banks and mortgage companies, as well as NID and home buyer technicians there to assist people. As you can see, we have Prime Lending, who is one of the sponsors for the activity, the event, as well as Webster Bank. CFS Realty is also sponsoring it, as well as NID, and Concord Baptist Church Housing and Economic Development is also sponsoring this program. So we are asking everyone to come out to get information, to answer your questions, and also to find out about the resources that are there to help you become a homeowner. And of course, we have our gala, our Real Estate Industry Masters Awards Gala. It's going to be on June the 21st at Lantana's in Randolph, and it will be recognizing our leaders in the community that are in the real estate industry for the work that they have done over the past year.
And then you have your national convention.
Our national convention, which will be in July, it will be in Atlantic City. It'll be the probably the 72nd annual national convention of the Greater Boston, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers.
And I'll help because I know the dates on that. That's the 27th of July to the 2nd of August. So get away, enjoy the moments, enjoy hurrahs in Atlantic City. Make sure that you bring money back with you rather than leaving money there. That is, go there as an ambassador, but also go there as a collector, debt collector. Collect from them and bring it back to Boston. We can use the dollars. The other casinos locally didn't open yet. We don't do names right now. There's no commercial messages, but you know who they are. I want to be able to, sort of look briefly at some of the things that NID Housing Counseling does as one of our supporting organizations. What does NID do for community or for NAREB, but you say? Let's talk about that briefly as we wind it down.
Well, briefly, NID is a housing counseling agency. We are a HUD-approved agency, and we help homeowners that are having any problems with their mortgage. They are behind in their mortgage, if they are being threatened by foreclosure. NID is able to assist you in talking with the banks, to negotiate with the banks or your mortgage company so that you will not have to lose your house.
So in addition to first-time homebuyer counseling and landlord-tenant counseling and homeless counseling, you also provide foreclosure prevention counseling.
Yes.
I've noticed that there are a number of foreclosures. There's been an uptick in foreclosures in the surrounding areas. Not necessarily Boston, but I know towards Taunton and Fall River and some of the outlying areas, there's been an uptick in foreclosures. And I'm not sure, I haven't questioned what causes that, but I'm sure that's something that NAREB and its membership can certainly benefit from in terms of turning housing around and creating good housing opportunities. Would you say?
Yes, I would. A lot of what we're seeing is people that have single-family homes. And if they are having problems with their income because of they lost their job, they got sick, there's numerous reasons why they might have some issues. And what we're finding a lot of times is that they're not multifamily homes, they're single-family homes when we look at the outskirts of Boston and surrounding areas.
Roberta, thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing your wisdom and knowledge this evening. We're glad you stayed with us. Until next time, we're going to leave, but we're leaving you with lots of things to think about, lots of opportunities to participate. And listen, we talk about homelessness as though it can never touch us. I'm aware of people who were earning six figures and are now homeless, and certainly we're trying to help those individuals. So none of us are beyond being homeless, and it could be from a fire, it could be from economic circumstances, it can be from any number of things. So don't turn your back on your neighbor. Let's look out for each other. Let's do this together. Until next time,